All right. Well, good evening. My name is Brittany Francis, and I'm so excited on this September 2nd, Tuesday night that we get to be together and share the testimonies of what this technology is doing. If you're a guest, I want to say welcome. And if you are really here just looking for hope, you have found it. Truly, we believe that this technology is the most prolific regenerative technology of our lifetime. It's an incredible technology. It's changing lives all over the world. And really, it is really just starting to really ramp up. And so testimonies are just pouring in with this technology. So, if you might say, you know what, there is somebody in my heart, then just text them really fast. Just send them this link and just know that they are going to be hearing some great things, and you will be too. So first of all, before we jump into this technology, I love when I am sent videos or text messages of or blood work showing what this technology has done. So I love to start the nights off with testimonies. And this gentleman, he actually was dealing for a very long time with tinnitus. And so we received this video yesterday, and this technology actually activates your stem cells. So no matter what it is that your body is dealing with, your body will take care of. Okay, so I want to play this.
Hello, my name is Jose Jimenez, and I'm from Round Rock, Texas. Um, I want to tell everybody about the X39. I've been using it this is my third month. Um, I recently added energy enhancers uh, to my X39s, and those I place at the inside of my ankles. Um, my wife and I decided that it was good for tinnitus. I've been suffering with tinnitus for as far as I can remember, for years, and lately it was getting unbearable, and we wanted to do something about it. And we read the book, and we found out that energy enhancers helped with tinnitus. Um, we ordered them, and I received them. I used them maybe 4 or 5 times. Um, but one of the days I was driving to work, and I thought I was going deaf because I couldn't hear the ringing in my ears. Uh, I immediately called my wife and told her, "Babe, I can't hear anything." And so it was weird to me to hear total silence, not hear the ringing in my ears, and brought me to tears. The truth. Um, but uh, but it did come back. But it didn't come back on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being very unbearable, and one, gotta pay attention to hear it. Uh, it's probably a 2 or a 3, very low. I can still hear it, but like I say, I just went through one of my energy enhancers. I'm waiting for my other one, and I do believe these really helped me. I hope anybody who's going through or suffering with tinnitus can use these patches and see the difference that it does on your hearing, on your ringing. Um, I hope this helps you. Anybody who's doing that, it happened to me, and I want to share this with everybody.
So, this is going to be one of the many, many testimonies that you hear tonight. But, the reason why I wanted to share this is because truly every single person deals with something, right? If you're on the other side of the screen and you're dealing with something and you say, gosh, what if? The answer is yes. Okay. So, with that, I wanted to share that piece. And then next, I would love for another friend to jump on. She sent me some very interesting information. And so, before we jump into this technology and explain how this technology works, I would love for Miss Sheena to jump on here and tell me, what are we looking at, Sheena, and what is happening?
Hi, y'all. I'm Sheena. I live in Lago Vista, Texas, and I started the patches back at the very beginning of March. What you're looking at is some blood work I had done right about that time. Nothing to do with the patches. I just had it done. And what it showed is I have if you see right there where it says greater than 20, my inflammation markers were so high they couldn't even put them in a lab result. I don't even know what they were. And my doctor was like, whoa, because I had 4 years of fighting COVID stuff and the list of what everything it did to me, but everything pretty much boiled down to was being caused by inflammation, the sore muscles, the aching, the heart issues I had, the lung issues, the fatigue. So Friday, if you look at the other one, it says 2.8. I did nothing other than just start wearing the patches.
I love it. And how do you feel? How are you feeling? Because I'm sure that you're feeling incredible.
Yeah, I started feeling great. When I first started wearing them, it was because I could not get rid of the flu and pneumonia for over a month. And I had frozen shoulder from being in the hospital with that. That's all I was looking for. And then I started seeing more energy. I was feeling just better in all ways. My muscles weren't aching when I was walking down the stairs. My nails were just all the things, my nails, my hair, my skin. But this right here has been really scary for me because some of the stuff I've been through, and to know that the markers have come down. Granted, I eat well, I hydrate, I sleep well, so I'm exercise, but that was going on before I started the patches. So I'm just grateful because now I have something. I feel better about not wondering if I'm going to have to get another stent, because that's one of the biggest things that inflammation causes, besides depression and autoimmune disease. Yeah. And other diseases, heart disease, and diabetes. So it's been systemic inflammation for me that seems to be under control right now. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Sheena, for sharing. So this is the power of what we have our hands on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to hear more testimonies. So definitely be texting your friends, because this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of tonight. So what I want you to understand is that this technology is actually in the stem cell world. It's not injecting stem cells. It's actually waking up your own stem cells, and your stem cells are actually going to work for you. So your testimony is going to be completely different than the testimonies that you hear tonight, because your body was created differently. Now, what are stem cells? Stem cells are the master building block of the entire body. Okay, so it is their job to naturally repair and naturally renew whatever is going on in the body, and whatever needs to be fixed. They are heat-seeking missiles. So when you have good, awake, and alert stem cells, they will find whatever is broken, and they will begin to focus on that area and begin to fix that area. Okay, so they replenish dying cells. They have the ability to take care of what Sheena was just talking about, your inflammation. They can regenerate, they can fight viruses, they energize you, give the ability for your body to begin to fix itself, because they're called undifferentiated cells, which means if you were to burn your hand on your stove, what could your stem cells do? Because they're undifferentiated, they have the ability to turn into whatever is necessary for that hand to fix, and then turn into whatever was necessary for it to work again properly. So if it's the nerve, if it's a muscle, if it's the cardiac in your body, whatever it is in your body that needs to be fixed, those cells can turn into whatever cell is necessary for your organs or your external pieces of your body to fix. Okay, so why this technology? Why is this such a big deal? And why are we about to hear the testimonies that we're about to hear? Okay, well, by the time we're 30, half of our stem cells go dormant. Okay, they go to sleep. And by the time we're 60, 90% of them go to sleep. So that's why when we're older, we start seeing a breaking down. Okay, so your body begins to break down, your body begins to do things that, well, you really didn't want it to do, right? So whenever a child falls, they can just get right back up, right? Well, not us, right? And so it's absolutely incredible what happens when you wake up those stem cells. Now, David Schmidt is the founder and the CEO. Because the testimonies are so powerful, I really like to talk about David, because this gives you validity into the company. He has over 200 patents, and he's a scientist, and he's the inventor. He originally was contracted by the government well over 20 years ago to come up with something that the Navy SEALs could use that would keep them awake for 24 to 36 hours straight ready for combat. So he began to go to work and he found that the body actually has chemical reactions in response to light. Because at the time, our Navy SEALs were hooked on amphetamines. It had to be some type of technology that didn't go inside their body. It could not be a pill, it couldn't be a supplement. It had to be something that naturally the body would elevate energy. So he found that the body actually has chemical reactions when light frequency hits the body. And he also found that internally the body emits light called biophotons. Okay, so there's nothing weird, it's very scientific. And there's all those different chemical reactions. Well, off of the body, because of those biophotons, because of our heat and frequency, he found through an infrared gun that we actually emit different colors of frequencies, light, of red, blue, yellow, all kinds of different colors. So he began to go to work and he found that there was actually a red light that we emit off of our body that when reflected back into our body produces energy and adrenaline. Okay, so the gentleman earlier with tinnitus that was talking, the reason why I wanted to play him first is it's incredible. He's using the energy enhancers, okay, which actually energize the body to fix whatever needs to be fixed, okay? And they were actually well developed over 20 years ago. And he uses the X39. Well, the energy enhancers were the first technology that David Schmidt created. Our Navy SEALs began to use them because they were so incredible. Michael Phelps got his hand on them. A doctor from Stanford University began to get wind of it. They did studies on them. They found how incredible they are. And so, hence, you see many of our Olympians using this technology because it's not putting anything inside the body. It's simply a reflection of frequency of light back in the body and the body producing energy. So David knew that he was onto something incredibly brilliant. So he spent the next 10 years and $4.5 million after really finding other different frequencies doing one thing, looking at how on earth can our body wake up stem cells. Because see, stem cells are a hot topic, right? For thousands of dollars, you can go and inject stem cells, right? And put them in your knee, in your hips, in your joints, whatever it is, okay? For thousands of dollars. Well, he knew, what if there was a light frequency that the body could accept that would actually wake up those stem cells? Well, after studying, after looking at all the different frequencies of light, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you're about to hear way more testimonies, the X39. This technology reflects a frequency of light back into the body. And then what the body does is elevate in response to that light frequency a GHKCU peptide. And that GHKCU peptide is known as the holy grail of healing because in 1973, they found this peptide and they were trying to rub it on their face. They've tried to do all kinds of things, but the natural elevation of the body elevating, take a look at all of the benefits from hair, skin, but all the way down. Let's look at the biggest one, activating your stem cells. So the stem cells begin to wake up and then your body begins to go to work. And it's like putting a dimmer switch, right? You have a dimmer switch. It's like slowly lighting up the dimmer switch because as all those stem cells begin to wake up, they begin to start working, lighting up, and then going to wherever the body needs to fix itself, and then starting to focus on that area. So it's incredibly brilliant. And so the brighter your body becomes with more stem cells, the more testimonies occur. So using this technology longer than 6 months produces incredible results. Okay. 70% of people feel a miracle between 5 minutes and 5 days, but 97% of people feel a miracle within 90 days. And then, if you utilize this technology longer than 6 months, you actually see that the body, clinically proven, after 3 years of them doing the research, the body actually reverses in age by an average of 8.5 years. Okay, so it's incredibly brilliant. It's a proprietary form of phototherapy. When we're children, our parents say, get outside and get your vitamin D, right? Well, what are we told? Basically, that the vitamin D comes from where? The sun. And that's not accurate. The sun activates the body and the body produces vitamin D. Okay, so it's a nanocrystal technology. Inside here are amino salts, sugars, and crystals that, if you look under a microscope, They're grinded down to a specific mirror image, and then that reflects that frequency of light. And then the body begins to wake up. So it's non-dermal, non-transferable, does not get in the way of any medications. I was on thyroid medicine. I had Hashimoto's for years and years. And I just was told I'd never be taken off my medicine. Well, about 47 days into it, not that I was counting, there was something that was weird. So I went to the doctor. He took my blood work, and 3 days later, he called me. He said, Brittany, please stop doubling up your medication. I said, I'm not. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not. Well, what happened was my T3 and my T4, all my levels began to level themselves out. I'm no longer on my medication, but it didn't get in the way of the medication. So it's completely non-invasive. Within the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. So PTSD, anxiety, depression, memory loss, all these things that need to happen where you're praying that your body begins to fix itself after COVID, and all these things begin to reset your brain. If you have a special needs child, you begin to see miracles there after about 6, 7 weeks. You begin to see some incredible neurological changes, and then it just keeps getting better and better. Your collagen is increased, which you ladies were like, hair, skin, nails. Yes, that is correct. But the collagen is actually the matrix of your body. There's a reason why I have a lot of NFL players and ex NBA players actually in our organization, because the collagen is vital, right? That's a matrix of your body. And so their ability to get out of a chair and move begins to increase. It's incredible. And then within 6 months, it's clinically proven that the cardiovascular age of your heart actually reverses. So it's absolutely incredible. It's not anti-aging. It is legitimately age reversal, clinically proven. And so with that, I'm going to call on just a couple of people first. And then just because I've gotten quite a few text messages this week, and please, for all of those that have not shared, or if you want to share something new, I would love for you guys to share. That's what tonight is for, is hope, hope, hope. So just know that when you jump on, share your name, where you're from, and we don't need to know who introduced you and all the things. We want to know what was happening and what's happening now. That's what we want to know, because we want it to be about a minute to a minute and a half, a snippet of what this technology does when your body wakes up those stem cells. So, Tiffany, are you available? You should be able to unmute, my friend. Let's see if she's there.
Hi. This is Tiffany, aka Woody Hill. I'm from Austin, Texas. I got a minute and a half to blow your mind, so here we go. 5 years ago, my back went out. And by my back went out, I mean my body went out. I couldn't walk for the better part of 2 years. I had to have caretakers. I couldn't even go to the bathroom. You can use your imagination. Believe me, that's not pretty. And then for the next 3 years after that, I didn't have my back go out, but I was in excruciating pain every single time I tried to do physical labor, anytime I try to do physical therapy, and we're talking the simplest things, I couldn't do them because I would immediately get inflamed and have a flare up. And then I would just doodle bug, hard stop, cry, and think, oh God, why me? I've been to several different physical therapists. I've had stem cell injections in every trigger point. I've had steroid injections. I've had dry needling with electrodes. You name it, I have done it. I spent $25,000 trying to crawl out of hell. And every time I try to crawl out of hell, you can see my finger marks just whenever it pulled me, that inflammation would just pull me back in. And I was devastated. And then my sister, PJ Hill Miller, she said, hey, try these patches for 1 month. And I was like, what have I got to lose? Well, let me tell you what I lost. I lost daily excruciating pain. I was able to exercise again with no inflammation whatsoever. I am now off of all pain medications. I take nothing but the patch and my hormones, and I feel like it's a miracle. I feel like everyone needs to know about this. We do not have to live in hell. We do not have to give up on ourselves. It's emotional for me because I thought I was going to die there. And now I get to have my body back. And I thank God. And Brittany, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. And I appreciate, God bless David Schmidt. I appreciate that he made this technology so that we can all enjoy the slice of heaven right here on earth. That's my testimony. Thank you so much.
Can it get any better than that? That is just, Tiffany, that's incredible. You know, what's so incredible is I watch you on social media and you'd never know. You know, I saw you and I was like, well, she looks like PJ. Well, that's PJ's sister. And you know, what's incredible is that we never know what people are going through, you
That's
know?
right.
And so, you know, if you are somebody that's going through something, just know there is hope. There's hope. My dad
There
was
is hope.
actually, he was bone on bone in his hips. And I remember him going, oh, I'm not going to use that. I said, Daddy, just put it on. What do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose?
And I love that. He lost the discomfort in his hip and he actually gained cartilage back. They couldn't believe it with the doctor and they were able to cancel the surgery. So, Tiffany, this is just the beginning. How long have you been patching?
6 weeks.
Oh, come my. Okay, so next month you got to come back on and give us an update.
Yes, ma'am. I sure will.
It's
I'll
just
be here
gonna
every
be.
month.
Oh, I love it. Okay, Tiffany, thank you so much. All right, so
Thank
next
you, Brittany.
I would love to call on Bill Vining. I know that you said you had some things happening that you wanted to share, and so we're just excited.
All right. Let me tell you first, my wife uh, couldn't walk this weekend, and we thought she had a blood clot in her leg and or something. So she ended up going to the emergency room, and they took an X-ray, and they came back and said, "You've got really severe arthritis." And she came home, and I said, "Well, put the Eon patch right there on it." And she did, and I promise you, I know she'd been walking around literally for 2 days in the weekend when the kids were here and everything. And in really 30 minutes, it was over. There was no more pain. So it's just kind of crazy. Let me tell you one more quick one. This is kind of funny. You know, I had for you guys, a lot of you guys were praying for me, and I appreciate it. I did have a stroke about 4 weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and coming out of that, my whole face was all slooped over, and couldn't use my left arms very much. And finally, I went to the emergency room for really only one day, and they sent me home. I went home, and my kids were all here. In summer, they're here from different places, and so we said, let's go bowling. And I said, well, I can't go, but I'll go. And so I went bowling, uh, and this is after. And let me say this: in 2 days, all the stroke stuff went away. Now, guys, that's just kind of crazy, except for a little bit with my left hand and all. So anyway, three days later, they're bowling, and my one of my granddaughters said, "Well, I don't want to bowl." And so I'm sitting here thinking, oh, okay, penny pincher me. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and bowl this time, the second one, even though I'm not supposed to. I thought, well, I'll do it. So I got up there the first one I bowled, and I'm not a bowler, by the way. I bowl one time a year, and so I threw it, and I think I got 8 pins down. The second one I got 8 pins. I threw 6 strikes after that. 6 strikes. Now that you can say it's the patch. You can say it's. I think I had leftover prayers from all the all the other, but it was like that was a miracle. So this is a little bit different, but I will say that who knows what this stroke and this thing could have been without me being on the patch. And that's what we'll never know a lot of times at this point in time in our career. So thank you very much, Brittany. Those are two of mine.
I love it. Oh, Bill, and we're just watching you. And yes, you wouldn't even know because you just look perfect. So that's wonderful. I love it. All right. So next I'm going to call on Angeline. Angeline, I would love for you to unmute yourself and to share with us what has happened for you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I had to go pick up my son from football. So can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good, good, good. So I am so excited to be back on here and sharing. I'm Angeline Moore. I'm from Central Florida. I am also a mom of 4 boys. My fourth sunshine was born right after one of the hardest seasons of our lives. And for me, life had started to feel like survival. I was dealing with these monthly cycles that left me completely drained, weakness that lingered, fatigue that never seemed to lift, and there was nights where no matter how tired I was, sleep just would not come. And I thought this was my new normal, right? I was like, oh, I guess it's just life, right? Then back in February, really beginning end of February, beginning of March, I started using this new technology, and within weeks, I noticed a shift. I had deeper sleep, more energy. My body felt like it was remembering how to heal again. But let's be real, y'all. Life got super busy with 4 boys, and I stopped for a month. Immediately, everything I thought I had gotten rid of came back. The fatigue, the afternoon crashes, the pain, the sleepless nights. And that's when I realized never again would I go without these patches. I got back on track the next month and I haven't looked back since. And this wasn't just about me. My husband, after going through two 10-hour surgeries following our near death experience last year, right before my son was born, had been living with this ongoing shoulder and elbow pain because of the surgeries. And one of the biggest changes I noticed with him wasn't just how he moved and how his reduction of his pain, but it was also how he slept. He used to snore so heavily, and I know that Brittany can attest to this for her own husband, but even now he shows signs that look like, see, he used to show signs of like sleep apnea. We used to be like, get on the machine, and he would fight us. But then starting, his snoring has reduced, and he's resting better than ever before. And I'm resting better than ever before because I'm not hearing him and worrying about his breathing. And then there's my sister. She's been struggling with this constant fatigue. I became her caregiver. Her memory issues, her nausea, her blood work came off crazy, like with her thyroid, her cholesterol, her iron levels. And she's just having these reactions to her treatments that they're having to give her. And I just knew in my heart she needs to be on this too. So I started paying her, and I'm really excited for what her next blood work's going to be, because I know this is going to absolutely change her life. Because for me, this isn't about chasing the next thing. This is about alignment, y'all. Wellness is worship. When we steward our health, it overflows into our family, our faith, and even our finances. And that's why I said yes to linking arms with this technology and this community. And I'm just so thankful for it all. But thank you for letting me share, Brittany.
I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. Well, we are so excited about this is just the beginning, right? Now, let me explain because I want to touch on this because remember, I told you all that there's a dimmer switch that's happening as you use this technology. So, what ends up happening is your stem cells begin to go dormant again if and when you stop wearing this. That does not mean that your body will go back to being completely broken. Okay. What ends up happening though is if you're just starting to ramp that up, right? They're just starting to get brighter and brighter, meaning your stem cells are starting to wake up and then all of a sudden you stop. What ends up happening? The body stops doing what you were helping the body do. So you want to wear this at minimum, truly a year. I used to say 1 month per decade that you're alive, but that's not accurate. That's really not accurate. After I've heard the scientist, which why would we not trust the scientist who's got over 200 patents? After I heard him talk the other day and speak, he said, after a year, people are seeing age reversal things happen that generations, them using, or the issues in generational health issues are absolutely going away. Right. And so that's why I would suggest to wear this not just 1 month per decade that you're alive, but truly wear it a year. Give it a year commitment because your body's actually going to fix the things, not mask the things. So that is one little key piece. So is there anyone else that would like to share? We're on a roll. Anyone else? Aaron, I would love for you to share.
Perfect. Can you see me?
I'm going to make you our spotlight right now.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Erin Ward and I'm from St. Augustine, Florida. Tonight I'm actually going to share my uncle's testimony. So we started patching my uncle about 7 months ago, who was on multiple blood pressure medications and 14 Advil a day just to get by due to discomfort. So his first win was 60 days later after patching. He was off all 14 Advil a day and he was off of his blood pressure medication. So that was huge. But about 3 weeks ago, my mom got a phone call from him saying that he had just gotten back from the doctor. So I'm going to read my note about his echocardiogram. So he said that his heart is now functioning within normal range, and his doctor was truly amazed and had never seen anyone have that kind of improvement. His doctor said, let's see, his ejection fraction rate showed a 10% improvement, which is huge for someone in his 70s. And again, this is something common that a lot of people hear, but doctors don't really know what's going on. And he just said, keep doing what you're doing because what you're doing is working. So I just wanted to share that with everyone.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, really? Guys, that is the power of what we have our hands on. I
Yes,
just, Erin, that is amazing. I just
absolutely.
like, I just love it. I love it. And it just keeps on coming from Florida. Keep on coming. So I love it. Oh, thank you for sharing. And I think we have somebody that's newer that wants to share. There's Kelly. Kelly, I would love for you to share because remember, we're talking about dimmer switch here. So I love the fact that there's somebody that's been on it not too long that wants to share.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So I just started on August 28th, and I started writing down what I've been feeling because my mom suggested, if you feel anything, write it down. So the first couple of days, I noticed I just felt more awake. I've always been tired my whole life. I felt more awake, and I even said to my mom, I feel like my eyes are more open. Does that make sense? And she said, yes. I feel like I'm sleeping better. I also have knee pain. I've already had two hips replaced. I'm only 56. And then my knees started hurting and getting worse with age, of course, and it's not hurting. I can walk. We've been busy. I have three grandsons to run around after, and it's not hurting. And then I was having a bunch of cramping in my toes at night. It would wake me up, and those hurt. And it stopped. And the last thing, many years ago, I had a blood clot in my right leg. And since then, I often wear a compression socks or some kind of leg sleeve just because as the day goes on, it swells. It doesn't really hurt, but it's uncomfortable. Starting yesterday and today, I have not put anything on my leg all day. And that's about it.
Love it. And this is what, not even a weekend?
Not even a weekend. And so I made my husband start too. And he has a lot of issues. He was military 20 years. And he used to have where he, in the middle of the afternoon, he'd be like, I have to lay down. I am so tired. I have to lay down. Last 2 days, no nap. And he also had a lot of cramp or left calf aching, getting worse. And he says it's 80% better.
And this is just the beginning.
Yes.
This is just the beginning. Kelly,
Yes.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. It's just going to be amazing to see what ends up happening. It's just going to be absolutely incredible. So, welcome to the family. We're so excited. We're so excited for you. So, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, guys, this is what you have your hands on. This is it. I mean, it is everything that you could absolutely pray for, everything that you could absolutely really truly hope for. So, from increased strength to reduced inflammation, okay, energy and vitality, mental clarity, restored muscle or skeletal condition. So, if you're older, it is harder to gain that muscle. That will begin to happen again. If you're an athlete, do know that this technology will work. Okay. And then improve skin appearance. So, we do make sure that our athletes, my kids, they're all patched up, especially when they're in their most active season. because they need to ensure that they're staying on their A game and they're staying healthy. So it's extremely sophisticated. This technology is very sophisticated, very simple to explain. So from cancellations of surgeries, as you guys have seen, to thyroid numbers, to snoring ending, the list goes on and on and on. It just does not matter. Whatever the story is, just keep wearing the technology because it will work. Okay, so how you're going to wear the patch, you're going to put it where you need it. Okay, so I had an arm issue. I put it on my arm. Okay, and guess what? It began to focus. But to ensure that they proved that it worked, right? They had to pick two spots. So they picked on the back of the neck, which is the most open point to the brain, and underneath the belly button, which is the most open point to the gut. Okay, now you heard about the other technologies, the energy enhancer, the Eon, all of those are incredible, and you can wear those as well. But the X39 is your mama bear patch. Okay, the ice wave does block the pain, and there's specific, like if your arm hurts, you would put it in a specific location and it will be able to block the discomfort while the X39 is waking up those stem cells. So the technology works. It's not on trial. So if you say, well, I need to do my research, you cannot patent placebo, okay? And if you look up on PubMed, there are so many studies on the elevation, or excuse me, on just GHKCU peptide. So the patent proves that the elevation of the GHKCU occurs and it happens in a natural way instead of trying to inject it synthetically and all the things in your body not accepting all those things. Your body elevates that GHKCU. So your body's doing the work. Stay hydrated with electrolytes. That's huge because your body's the one that's doing the work. Let your body push out whatever needs to be pushed out so that your body can heal. Okay. And do know that what we have our hands on is so legitimate that there is a documentary that is being released about our company at the end of October. So if you're going to Anaheim, yay, you get to watch the documentary, but it's incredible to hear about David Schmidt and how he became an inventor. Now, if you were like, okay, these testimonies were great, but what about this? What about that? The answer is yes. You can actually screenshot this. This is at info.com. And from, let's just say that you say, well, I want to know about neuropathy, or I want to know about gluten issues, or the answer is yes for everybody on everything every single time. You can visit this and you can absolutely see that it will work on everything. And we have doctor Zooms that we have access to at any time that you can actually just plug into and watch if you're excited. And, if you decide, you know what, this is technology that I want to change people's lives. There are so many things that will happen because of you deciding to say yes if you decide to ever share this. This is something that I love to share at the very end. This lady, she had kidney issues, and her daughter just said, Brittany, what do we have to lose? And so they began to use this technology, and their kidney function went from 50%, her kidney function went to 85%. This is my miracle inbox to the point where I can't even keep up with it anymore. So, just know that your testimony is going to be incredible. And if you choose to wear and share it, you absolutely can. There's an incredible opportunity there. But either way, just get a testimony. Be filled with hope. That's my biggest piece. Love your family and say yes to this, because I can promise you, just like you heard it earlier from Tiffany, I could just, you know, when you think that there's no hope, there's absolutely hope. Absolutely. And so this is how you're going to get started. You can do the core at 295. Okay. And that gives you 3 months of the X39. Okay. I always tell everybody stay on auto ship with something, because if you eventually decide to share, you can. But the Alavita patch is actually one of my favorites. That's what my husband and I have been using. It really helps with the pineal gland. And so I really like the Alavita, and you can wear that at night, the X39 during the day, or the Eon at night. Helps take down that inflammation. And then the advanced, if you're a married couple, or if you say, I'm going to share this with everybody, you can loan sleeves. So while their sleeves come in, or the premium, we have so many kids, me and my husband. So I said, everybody's getting a patch. And so we went in with the premium. But no matter which direction you choose to go, what I will tell every single one of you is that don't block your blessing. Don't block your blessing. That's why we do these Testimony Tuesdays, because there are so many people that desperately need hope. And so if you're our guest, I just want to say welcome to the family, because I'm pretty sure that you're going to see how incredible this technology is. And so with that, God bless you. Welcome to the family. And I'm so excited for you and what is going to end up happening. And I can't wait for you to be on the other side of the screen sharing your testimony because you said yes. Have an incredible night and God bless.